Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Sky. I'm coming on to talk to you about the full moon in Capricorn of July 3rd, 2023. In this video, I want to talk about the way in which the full moon is illuminating Pluto as it spends one of its last times in the sign of Capricorn. We have the anaretic Pluto, 29-degree Pluto in Capricorn once more. We have the full moon in Capricorn. I think this is a good sort of in-between point and illumination point to understand some of the final messages of the 15-year transit, of course, that we've had in Pluto and Capricorn. So enjoy this brief but I think telling dialogue about Moon Pluto. Before we get started, everyone, do hit the subscribe button below. I will be making a video later this month talking about the nodal shift we're having from Taurus Scorpio to Aries Libra. And I'm going to be talking about that for all of the zodiac signs, so make sure that you're subscribed with bell notifications on. Also, my 7-day free trial offering on my Patreon page will be concluding on July 5th, so be sure to go and get one of those free trials if you're interested in trying out this channel's premium offerings in a trial format. So yeah, let's talk about full moon in Capricorn, everyone. Okay, so this is going to be a really nice little few-day window that we have here to understand where harmony is in our lives and where harmony isn't. We have a really lovely close conjunction of Venus and Mars and Leo, which is going to be a quincunx to this full moon. 22 degrees Venus, 25 degrees Mars. We have also Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. We have a conjunction of the Sun and Mercury in Cancer opposing this full moon in Capricorn. What a powerful healing period of illumination, everyone. I don't want to understate the degree to which this period of time, about July 1st to July 8th, specifically July 3rd when this full moon is exact, I don't want to underestimate how revealing this period of time is going to be relating to both your material and spiritual goals. So, of course, the Capricorn-Cancer axis deals with goals. It deals with status. It deals with the way that we feel inside versus the way that we're perceived on the outside. You know, Cancer being that primary example, and Capricorn being the latter. And this full moon is significant because it is going to be the entire story. What do I mean by that? So we have Sun and Mercury activated in this, which are the two first primary bodies that we think of in astrology. And then we have Pluto activated. So we have the closest and the furthest bodies coming into illumination here. So we're getting full picture comprehensions here, you all. We're probably going to also be seeing some pretty complex options coming up that need decisions, okay? So one of the psychic images that I've been getting during this time has been just getting all of your options in front of you, maybe on like separate pieces of paper, and being able to look at it all. It's a great time for physical representations of larger issues in your life that you can then pare down, deconstruct a little bit, and sort of begin to make different choices based on putting everything in front of you. The magician archetype definitely comes up in this time. Also, the death archetype, the hanged man archetype. We're really distilling ourselves in a position of sacred decision making. And a lot of us are very still within that, and we have to really understand what has ended, what has concluded, in order to move forward properly. Because I'm seeing a bit of a crisis point here for a lot of people, July 2023 in general. I'm seeing a crisis point where we are in a way trying to operate through zombie consciousness, okay, where we're trying to make things work that have had their time. We're still deriving our energy from people who are no longer in our lives. We're still trying to make a certain age work that is not our age now. That's zombie consciousness, okay? Trying to operate through something which is no longer living, or trying to make something live or generate life force energy when it's not natural. So we're going to see this not just in the actions of people, but also in systems, okay? So economy. I'm seeing a lot of businesses being forced to generate results that aren't natural for them. I'm also seeing trade and currency being unnatural and being overinflated or over sparked. Okay, so I'm seeing prices that have no real natural basis. I'm seeing also a lot of speculation starting to grow, and we've already really had a climax of that toward like middle 2021 to late 2022, and in a lot of ways that's kind of been receding a little bit, and now it's starting to show itself differently. So it's starting to show itself maybe in different parts of the economy or in different parts of people's lives. This more kind of like false front, false light energy is starting to really decide here at this point with this full moon in Capricorn that illuminates both the closest body to the sun and the furthest body from the sun, Mercury, Pluto. Okay, because of course we have, we're building to July 10th an opposition of Pluto and Mercury exact, which I will be making a video about. Do subscribe to this channel to get that video when it comes out. That's what we're building up to from this full moon, is a Pluto-Mercury opposition where we totally reconcile the deeper inner sense with the highest conscious mind. So I want to prepare you guys for that, and this full moon in Capricorn video is actually a little bit, of course I love to tell you all about it, but it's a little bit of a heads up that over the next, 10, 20 days, we're going to be going through things that kind of nudge us to start to find a balance point between these polarities, between these extremes. The deepest wants of your being versus the more, conscious and more also short-sighted, or not short-sighted, but just immediate wants of your being. Those two polarities are about to be brought into conjunction for some people, or opposition, depending on our levels of personal balance. But at a more mundane level, what that can mean, actually at a more individual level, when that happens, when we have these extremes, when we have these polarities and they come into balance, sometimes that can create a bit of fire. Sometimes that can be a very frictional experience. And for that reason, are there accident indications during this time? Well, we do have a square between Uranus and Mars, pretty close as well. Opposition of Pluto Mercury, that's less of an accident indication than the Uranus-Mars square. The Venus-Uranus square as well. It's a time to exercise caution, you all, especially when it comes to the way that we're voicing, channeling, or expressing the life force energy that is generating based on the attempt to balance these polarities between the deep inner wants that are not outside of us yet, and then the high expression that is sort of like our identity or our communication to the outside world. So that's one of my main, I think, thesis about this period of time is there's a pretty big disequilibrium between the way that people are expressing their identity or expressing who they are as compared to the way that they've changed on the inside and what they're feeling for themselves and hoping for themselves in the future. And this period of time is going to be a chance to start to bring harmony to that imbalance for a lot of people. So taking a time to survey where imbalance may be in your life would be good right now. It's a good period of time for safe traveling for some people. Very strong keywords with the Uranus configuration that we're having. So maybe not a time to go on a skydiving retreat, or even really intensive health retreats, or climbing Mount Everest right now, probably not, but more safe journeys to the homeland, or safe journeys to also places that are familiar to you would be a good balance point there, and allowing ourselves to see signs and symbols relating to how we're supposed to move forward. It's a good time for prayer. It's a good time for having open eyes to symbolism. It's a good time also for learning vicariously from other people who've done perhaps what it is that we're wanting to do, what their experience was like. A good time to read biographies, memoirs. Good time also to put into writing, into journaling, the effects that people who perhaps are not in your life anymore have actually had on you, rather than having kind of like blurry or confused, foggy feelings that haven't really been put words to. So yeah, good time for shadow work here. We're in Cancer season. Sun, Mercury, conjunct in Cancer, opposite Pluto in Capricorn, full moon in Capricorn. That is a time for some shadow work. Okay, Neptune also in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, Chiron in Aries. A lot of us, you guys, during this period of time, and for the rest of this year, but it's a climax point here at this July full moon in Capricorn. A lot of us are about to totally overcome some kind of very long-running shadow. Okay, long-running addiction, long-running time-wasting mechanism. Okay, it's about, for a lot of people, like that torch is lit, and we're about to kind of go through that chasm and understand what's going on there. Good time for psychotherapy, good time for working with psychics, astrologers, life coaches, therapists, but ones who are specifically, not surface level. Like I'm talking like deep psychoanalysis, deep astrology work. It's not the type of astrology work where we're going to the astrologer asking how we can tie our shoes differently to make $100,000. It's not the type of therapist that we're going to where we're wanting to be told, the same words over and over again about how we were mistreated by our ex. Okay, this is like turning this around the other way and thinking, why is it that I want an amount of money that I don't already have? Why is it that my ex did that to me from my perspective? Like, why was I a match to a situation like that? We are really taking these more like surface level feelings, because we go through trauma, or we go through pain, like we go through poverty, or we go through harsh breakups. It's natural to like want to fix these things, or to want to think, is there some kind of easier way for me to overcome poverty? Is there some kind of way that I can reinforce that I wasn't the one at fault with my ex? But it's not the right way during this time. It's not the right way. The only way this time is going to be a personalized first person walk with the illumination, with the sun, with the full moon, through the reasons why these situations actually happened, without getting so eclipsed by blame, or without letting a sort of like very human need to dole out blame or pay out blame eclipse the actual vibrational or frequency level component of why the whole entire experience happened. So this is a period of time where we can actually transcend a little bit of our own like metadrama, okay? And we can actually see a more frequency level, quantum level, even social or society-based level reasoning for why what happened to us happened. And I think that this can be very healing for any type of like trauma-based disorder, or any kind of also way in which we might be, especially if you've had a long period of time since your trauma, like I'm talking 7+ years at this point, like quarter returns of Saturn, or even longer, like like 30 years, like if you've had like 30 years between your trauma and stuff is still coming up here. This is a period of time where it can actually be transcended. That's specifically for longer running traumas. Shorter running traumas that have happened less than 7 years ago, that's a different dialogue, because there's just a reality about how traumas that have happened very recently will work with us, or we have to like have a different maybe opinion about this. But for those long running traumas, which will come up with a 29-degree Pluto in Capricorn, opposite Mercury, and a full moon illumination, that's going to be a very important healing point, and a very important also channel into understanding what sustains these traumas as still relevant to us. And that's probably, I think, a point where many of us will be looking at mundane daily habits, perhaps, that reinforce trauma signatures. And for that reason, I think, with the fact that, Cancer being so activated as well, the Cancer Capricorn axis, there will be something of like, how can my sleep cycle, how can my diet, how can my circadian rhythm, and also my willingness to be really dialed into my spiritual journey, or contrarily, really focused on sort of like temporary mundane issues, how that contributes to either healing or sustaining long-term trauma. So anyway, everyone, that's about it for this full moon in Capricorn channeling. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I just felt the energy come in very naturally today and just sat down and filmed and got it up really quickly. Again, I'll remind you that July 5th, my 7-day free trial period to my Patreon page will conclude. So do go and check that out. I'm going to link that in the center of the screen and link that below. Yes, limited time only for the free trials. You can try before you buy, and you can cancel it if you don't like it. I'm just really trying to do some good promotions for it, as I will probably not be focusing so much on promoting for the next few months. But yeah, we'll probably do live premieres later this year. But I'm right here with you guys. I'm working on a lot of my own healing journey right now, so it's probably not going to be past this point a lot of push for me to try to advertise for Patreon or for other, as I've said, I'm not doing a lot of launches this year. But yes, go check out the 7-day free trial and do subscribe. I've got a lot of other wonderful normal YouTube content coming later this month, including the nodal axis change. So make sure those bell notifications are turned on, and comment below. Let me know how you're doing with this full moon in Capricorn. Thank you, everyone. Have a great transit. Bye.